Good evening. My name is Patrick Lindner, Lindner. I'm the attorney representing the Church Seguin Local Government Corporation, the City of Schertz, and the City of Seguin in their efforts to oppose this application. I've submitted written comments earlier this afternoon to the Chief Clerk, so I won't go through those tonight. I want to stress this evening that the City of Schertz is adamantly opposed to this application and has adopted a resolution in opposition to the application, just like the City of Seguin has, just like the Schertz Seguin Local Government Corporation has. The members of those governing bodies are adamantly opposed to this application because of its potential to adversely affect the tens of thousands of homes for the water that we supply to them. So we ask you to deny the application. Thank you.
Thank you. Sharon Blumer, followed by Renee Medina, followed by Patricia Blackburn.
I don't want to wear my welcome out here, but I'm Sharif Omar, and I live about 1.5 miles from the proposed site. I transplanted to Texas from Oklahoma about 30 years ago, and I am so happy to be in this great state. And I have been amazed at Texas and the things that we can make happen in Texas. I am so proud of the legislators that have spoken here tonight, that I have helped put in office, and they have represented us well. I really can't add anything to that other than reinforce. Please listen to what they're saying. As admired as I am by this great state, I am in awe that an application can even be considered past point 1 when it is being proposed to be placed over an aquifer district recharge zone. I just think there's something wrong with the process, and I hope that our legislators that have jumped in on this issue see that something is wrong if an application can even be processed in this situation. I appreciate you being here tonight.
Followed by John Westbrook.
Hello, my name is Renee Medina. My family's farm is located on FM 1150. Question, how is it that the Carrizo-Wilcox Aquifer does not have the same protections as the Edwards? Hopefully that can be responded to in the letter. What we are dealing with here tonight is about sustaining life, and we do that with water, fresh drinking water, for which there is no substitute. We are also dealing with those who would risk contaminating that source for those of us who are directly affected by the slightest mistake in the proposed trash dump. What we are doing tonight is explaining to you, TCEQ personnel, so that you realize that the location for this proposed trash dump is in a poor geographic location. It's no secret to those of us who have grown up in this area that all the ranches surrounding this proposed dump site will flood in times of rain. Some of us have deep gullies, deeper than 10 feet, which have to rush water in times of much needed rain. It doesn't take gullies or creeks for water to sweep across the surface of our corner of Guadalupe County. There's enough natural inclination of the surface that forces water across our fields to carry water down to Nash Creek, eventually dumping into the Guadalupe River. What will the dump do then? I recall in the late 90s when rain caused water to raise homes right off the ground and carry them downstream in areas not far from the proposed dump site. What will the dump do with all that runoff water? High walls for the dump will not serve as a makeshift levee like the dump people will tell you. Other states have seen it before, as those high walls will not have the same liner in them, nor will they have the clay layer to poorly attempt to keep water from moving through those high, permeable walls. Any attempts to build non-permeable layers in the high walls have proved to be failures and has been well documented by other states and universities studying these events. The composite liner sounds good on paper, but in reality, so many things have gone wrong with this system. Let's keep in mind that Post Oak Clean Green is not the first to attempt such a liner system as a composite liner that is being proposed. The first thing that could go wrong is the assumption that this liner will be impermeable. While we think these high-density poly liners are impermeable, studies from the Ohio State University prove that this liner is seldom laid down in such a manner that the seams all make impermeable connections. Even if it were to be laid down as one single piece, the machinery used to roll out such a heavy liner usually causes damage to it. If it's not the machinery used to lay it down, then it's the actual trash can be rough enough and will have sharp edges where it causes holes and tears in the liner. While the people that manufacture these liners state that they are unaffected by most chemicals, municipal trash dumps like Post Oak Clean Green will never be able to account for each chemical that enters that hole. For most states, these liners are not required to be over a fraction of an inch, and I seriously doubt that Post Oak Green Wing has gone through the extra expense of making this one overly thick on the order of inches rather than fractions of an inch. Even in the event of inches of polyliner, it's only a matter of time until the overburdened trash slashes a hole in the liner. Research also proved that while the chemicals in trash compact and mature over time, creating heat and methane, Noah's trash dump can actually account for every single chemical being produced at the bottom of these pits. For that reason, and for several others, the condition of the polyliner is always assumed but never really known. The second part of the composite liner is that consisting of the clay liner. Some Ohio State research has found that these liners range from 2 to 5 feet in thickness, and while they vary in thickness, one thing is for certain, is that fluids do move through these liners at the rate of inches per year. That same research also found that clay liners prove to be too dynamic depending on the conditions around them. In seasons of cold, these clay layers will shrink, allowing for cracks and fractures to form in the clay layer, which can also cause weak spots under the poly liner. These cracks and fractures will give direct access to the soil and aquifer below it. Seasons of extreme drought, like we have seen since 2011, will also cause these clay layers to crack and fracture, much like you would see in the dry edges of a muddy lake. Again, this allows for direct access to the soil and aquifer below. Increased amounts of water and rainfall encountered by this clay layer will cause it to swell, possibly creating weak spots in the poly above it. In short, the effectiveness of clay liners, like the one proposed tonight by Post Oak Green Wing, can be reduced by fractures and reduced by freeze-thaw cycles, drying out, and the presence of some chemicals. I represent the 5th generation of my family that has pulled water from the Carrizo-Wilcox freshwater aquifer from the same ranch, and there's a 6th generation already in school. With so many new would-be Texans pouring in every day, how can you responsibly let a health hazard like a trash dump be built over this aquifer? The TCEQ is responsible for ensuring the quality of the environment so that future generations of people can enjoy the same resources as their family before them did. You have the sole responsibility to stop this catastrophe from happening, and I implore you to exercise that duty.
Followed by John Westbrook, followed by Carl Wood.
First of all, I wanted to thank you for responding to some of my questions earlier. And thank you for being here and being patient. It's what you're paid to do, is to be here and listen to us. I'd like you to do more than that. I do appreciate y'all. Y'all are the ones making the decision. And it's been pointed out here tonight that none of you are drinking our water. And currently, none of you have family members here. But I sure hope you think of us as family, as fellow Texans. I've only been here for 10 years. My name is Patricia Blackburn, for the record, and I do live 2 miles from this proposed dump. When this first came out, I, as I'm sure so many people here, had other things going on in my life that were pretty huge. And I just didn't believe it was going to go very far. And I'm frankly amazed at how long this process has been allowed to play out. I think it's gone beyond deadlines. It sounds to me like rules have been stretched. It sounds to me like exceptions have been made. And yet, everyone that I've talked to, other than y'all tonight, are against it. And Mr. Thunderbird, or wherever the heck his name is, obviously he's for it. And I don't understand why. I've been here 10 years. Say again?
Money.
Exactly. I've been here 10 years. It's flooded hugely at least 3 times. That's less than 10 years. That's 2004, that's 2007, that's just in the last year, even though we've been in a drought, because when we don't get enough rain, that ground can't do anything with it. And it comes down hard. And I get trapped behind Nash Street if I can't get out. I'm also a little bit dismayed at some of the questions y'all couldn't answer. I realize you can't possibly have every answer up there, but it seems to me that when you've got, for instance, whatever the situation in Galveston was brought up, I certainly hope that you all go back and look at that situation. It sounds like it applies to us. What I don't want is just me selfishly owning 27 acres within too close to this thing, but realizing that Seguin and Luling and Gonzales and Austin and San Antonio all share my backyard. I don't want increased trucks going back and forth every day, dropping stuff off on the side of the road. The sides of the roads they already gather pollution. I don't want the noise pollution. I don't want to see birds circling above. The buzzards are going to love this. And they're going to pick stuff up and they're going to transfer it. And we're all going to suffer for it. So there is pollution, as far as I'm concerned, in 3 layers. In the air, the smell, the noise, on the ground, the traffic, the endless heavy movers, etc., and obviously what lies beneath. And what I said earlier about Aaron Brockovich really wasn't a joke. Because at home right now, I have a 21-year-old child who is bedridden. He is entirely physically and mentally disabled. I know what it's like to take care of a child like that. Now, normally I don't make my arguments just based on emotion, but I'd like for everyone here and everyone not here to know what it's like to take care of a child like that. And what I'm afraid y'all are doing is you're experimenting. This is an experiment. This is 20 feet above an aquifer. And you're not just trusting your science, you're not just trusting your engineer. I can't believe, sir, frankly, that you have been designing this landfill and not going back yourself and finding out about your other 25 landfills and seeing how they're doing so that you can make adjustments to your latest design. I'm frankly amazed you don't know the state of them, all right? Y'all are experimenting with our children and our grandchildren. And I do not want someone 10 years from now, 20 years from now, to be going around and sampling the water and finding out that your experiment